What's happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in. This video is going to be covering a lot of stuff. We've kind of been giving the cold shoulder to Profit Trailer, PTFeeder, and Defender. So I'm going to be doing a pretty much a full explanation of my newest settings for PTFeeder and Defender. I'm going to be going over a lot of the settings, kind of how it works and what you should be doing with Defender. Because I'm seeing really, really good results with this. And I know a lot of other people in our community are as well. So, another thing would be if you're having trouble, just stop by our Discord. We have a community users app settings channel, and we're all just bouncing different ideas off of each other. Ferry, shout out to you, man. You are just crushing it with some really cool new ideas with the app settings. We're looking to integrate some sort of way with Feeder to adjust our buy strategies once PTDefender kicks in on our coins. And so far, it's actually been doing pretty well. With what he posted, where was it? It was somewhere up here. It was this guy here. So, stop by our Discord and check that out. But basically, first and foremost, as you can see on my Defender screen here, my results over the past, week or so, since the last time I made the video, I started using Defender on basic attention token, ONT, and Dash. And you can see I went through 32 rounds with basic attention token, 18 rounds on ONT, and 11 rounds on Dash. And this has just been crazy because these are the recovered amounts in your base currency, I think. At least for me, it's in Bitcoin, which lines up with my sales and Profit Trailer. I've had 32 sales of basic attention token in like the past week. So, and you can see, so I guess I'll backtrack a little bit. Basically, a lot of people have been asking me about my feeder settings, my most recent release. And a lot of people have been saying, why is PTDefender not buying? Why is PTFeeder or Profit Trailer not doing anything? Am I missing something? And to be completely blunt is, you're not missing anything. It's just my settings that I'm releasing are going to be conservative because I don't want you guys getting into nasty bags, first and foremost. And second of all, they're set up that way so you guys can kind of adjust and learn them as well and go along with it. Because if you learn it, it makes it better for all of us because our community grows, as you can see with our app settings channel and Discord. I mean, we're bouncing some really cool ideas off of each other. If you guys start to learn it, and instead of just kind of copying and downloading what I have, it just makes it for a better experience for everybody because then you understand when things are going wrong. And one of the best ways to do this is just go to TradingView and pull up these indicators. So this is what we're using. Nothing special, stochastic RSI and the traditional RSI. So as you can see, when you're using these buying strategies, stochastic RSI cross, stochastic RSI, and then the traditional RSI. When you use these two in conjunction together, they're very, the stochastic RSI is a very fast moving oscillator. As you can tell, when it gets into the overbought and oversold positions, is much more frequent than the traditional RSI. So that's something you really need to keep in mind is because that's the reason we use the traditional RSI, is because it's kind of a safety net, right? Because when we're in these right here, for example, we're in this sort of stochastic RSI oversold position, but not necessarily in the traditional RSI. Sure, maybe you missed this little pump, but you're hedging yourself from getting into bad situations. Like what would have happened if this turned into just another downtrend? It's kind of a hedge to kind of safety net your holdings. And right here, if you would have been using our RSI, which I believe that we're using 30, below 30, maybe it's 28, depending, I can't quite remember. But in about 1 hour, maybe 2, we saw a sharp increase of about 29%. And both of these situations were captured in our settings. And you can see that this is basic attention token. And I caught wind of that. So it's not that the settings or anything is wrong. It's just that they are conservative because it's a safety net to kind of keep you in good buying situations instead of just relying on one sole indicator, which would be the stochastic RSI. and the stochastic RSI cross, these technically are one indicator, right? They're using the same indicator in TradingView. So that's why I integrated the RSI. So the hint is incrementally raise your RSI buy value to maybe 35 or maybe 40, just depending on your risk tolerance. But you need to be aware that you may end up in situations that you don't want to. So that's kind of why I keep it low, because traditionally when you go below 30, it's an oversold territory, and you can back test that pretty well and kind of catch. But as you can see, if you're using below 30, this entire time frame between, say, here and here, 13 days, you would not have caught in a buy on basic attention token. So if you're familiar with the settings and you understand these indicators, by all means, adjust them. So that way you're not getting, kind of stuck for 13 days and 11 hours. That's what I do. I adjust them because I understand how these indicators work, but I'm not going to release some super aggressive settings to the mass public. So keep that in mind. That is probably why you're kind of sitting stuck, maybe in limbo, but the more you guys learn, the better, the more we can bounce ideas off of each other in our Discord, in this app settings. We have this community users app settings group. It's great. So Ferry Hendricks, shout out to you, man. You're crushing it in there. Anyway, so what I wanted to do is go into, and obviously, like, I have 27 complete coins. So this thing has been kind of going bananas. It's been nuts. So what I wanted to do is give a quick overview on the difference between DCA and using Defender. So let's say you started out with a bag of, say, basic attention token, and your initial buy was 0.1 BTC. So we can put in BTC here, and your DCA level 1 is set at 100% rebuy, or not rebuy, that's Defender talk. The 100% DCA level, right? Each DCA level, you have a percentage, and you want it to trigger at -1% in feeder. So that's great. What that takes is you started with 0.1 BTC. What that takes is it's gonna rebuy. So now your new bag is worth 0.2 BTC. Assuming that your trigger triggers at -1%, it's going to bring you up to -0.5%. Okay, that's great. That's a DCA strategy. You're doing all right. Now DCA level 2. Let's say this -0.5% drops down to -1% again. DCA level 2. Now you're sitting with a 0.2 BTC bag of basic attention token. All right. Now when profit trailer, the triggers become true, it's going to rebuy an additional 0.2 worth of basic attention token. That's going to bring you back up to -0.5%. All great. Let's go down to DCA level 3. Now you're sitting with a bag of 0.4 BTC value of basic attention token. On DCA level 3, it triggers at -1% because this -0.5 continued to drop. Now you're sitting in a bag of 0.8 BTC worth of basic attention token, and you're sitting back at -0.5%. Now, the next level, you're going to be sitting at 1.6 BTC. Like this is where DCA is completely different from what Defender is doing. This takes a ton of capital. It just does. And the way that we're getting out of these bags using Defender is very simple. Like, it's no matter what happens with Defender, if you start it again, like let's use this same example for Defender. You have a bag of -0.1. You set auto defend up at let's put this, set auto defend up at -1%. Then what happens is when this bag reaches what would have been DCA level 1, what it does is it breaks up your bag and it waits until Profit Trailer or PTFeeder ends up buying this coin based on your strategies here. When that does happen, no matter what, your target percent is reached. So no matter how big your bag, no matter how deep it gets, you can always count on Defender reaching that target percentage. So what we can do is we can go to edit here, and you can see this is your target percentage. And this is actually, I haven't talked about Defender a lot in recent videos. So they've actually updated a whole lot of cool stuff. So you can see that here you have an edit on the fly option now, which is super cool because now we can increase this or lower this based on market conditions, however we want to do it. Say I want to start getting my bag closer to negative 0.1%. Well, that's great. You cannot do that with DCA unless you increase your DCA percentage to 200%. That'll get you back up to 0.25, right? So it's going to take a ton, and this will also double this. So this'll really increase your capital required doing this with DCA, whereas with Defender, no matter what you do, your max rebuy percentage, your percent gain, your target percentage, you can always count on Defender when Profit Trailer makes this rebuy. So like right now I'm in waiting for buy. What happened is it's broken up my coins. So right here you can see my bag is obviously worth more than $8 or $7.47. What happened is I have a pending order for basic attention token worth, $150 right now because I've gone through so many rounds. It's sold off so many of these coins. You can see that it's broken up my coin and it's waiting for Profit Trailer to rebuy. When Profit Trailer does rebuy, that percentage that's going to show in Profit Trailer is going to be whatever I have set as my target percentage, and that's negative 0.5%. With DCA, you just don't get that luxury. So it's equivalent to saying, say you start Defender somewhere in here. Let's get rid of these so we can get a better idea. With DCA, what's going to happen is you're going to DCA all the way down, right? You're going to just look to rebuy and dollar cost average your way all the way in until you see a nice spike in price. Say you bought in here and you have a negative 35% coin. Well, with DCA, it's going to be very difficult for you to get out of that. You could DCA once and at 100% and bring you up to 15.25% or whatever it is. You're still going to be waiting for a 15% gain. It's actually going to be more than that, but you're going to be waiting for quite a large gain to get back up to where you're in the positive. Whereas with Defender, automatically, no matter what happens, you're getting to this target percentage of negative 0.5%. And that allows you to take part in a lot of these miniature gains, right? You don't have to wait for the massive bull pumps that we're just not seeing right now in this bearish trend. And I'm of the opinion, if you saw my video, my last video is I think we're probably going to continue to suffer a little bit more until we fully get out of this thing. And that's kind of where I'm at. And that's why I think Defender is working so well for us in this situation. The last thing I want to cover real briefly is we've talked about this before. I talked about this in a previous video is we're coming up with different conditions, and this is just one of them. It's not finalized, but we're looking at making PTFeeder adjust buying strategies based on when Defender starts defending a coin. So if you're using auto defend, this sort of condition, this grouping will allow PTFeeder to start adjusting buying conditions or whatever based on, when Defender starts purchasing. So that's going to be really interesting once that gets going. But that's about all I wanted to cover. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like, hit the thumbs up, join our Discord. And if you're interested in getting any of these add-ons or Profit Trailer. Links are in the description for all of this information covered, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys.